Hi empaths, welcome back to my channel and back to Journey Through the Tarot. We're talking about our week with the Nine of Swords. And introducing the history, symbolism, and divination of the Ten of Swords. So it's not looking much better. I'm looking forward to getting out of the swords. This journey is inspired by Dirty and Divine, a transformative journey through tarot by Alice B. Grist. She spent a day with each card and we're doing a week. And we're getting a lot of our information from the Tarot, History, Symbolism, and Divination by Robert M. Place, one of my tarot teachers. Working with the symbolism in the Waite-Smith symbolism in the Rider Tarot deck. Looks like this. If you need any of those items, they're located in my Amazon store, which is linked in the description of this video. Okay, so let's talk about our experiences with the Nine of Swords. And if you recall from the description from last week, it's about anxiety, nightmares, insomnia, feeling unrested, and a disappointment, shame and guilt, misused words, keeping you up at night, haunted by thoughts and dreams, just can't sleep, feeling unrested, things like that. So that's what it's felt like this week. I actually took extra hours this week for overtime. So I had a couple of really long work days, and that definitely took it out of me. I'm still recovering from that. And I just felt unrested, like my eyes feel sore and tired from staring at screens. And I haven't been waking up feeling very rested. I actually watched the Night Stalker docuseries on Netflix, and that was not pleasant. That was I definitely feel like it vibed with this card, and probably even going into the 10. And it was interesting, while I was watching it, in the documentary, they were talking about how he had abducted children. And as soon as they started talking about that, I got an Amber Alert on my phone, talking about a little girl who had been taken, and describing the vehicle and everything. And I rarely get those here. So I thought that was just an odd synchronicity. And then I noticed, and then I sort of sent out a prayer that, she be found. And then I noticed that I kept getting like 2 messages coming in at a time from people. Like if I got a text from this person, another person messaged me on a different app, or, and it just was like, I felt like I was being bombarded with messages. And I could see how, for an introvert, that might, show up in that card, just feeling like, okay, the world is sort of coming at me right now. I had a customer on the phone this week who was, like it shook me to the core. Like he was a violent person. And so he was being, really violent to me, like not, like on the phone, like he was, just being so cruel. But it was a different thing than just being kind of mean or irritated, or, even using vulgar language. I'm kind of used to that. I'm used to like sort of dealing with angry customers and not feeling it in, really, consuming me or rattling me too much. I can usually shake it off. And this person, I felt it in my bones, like it penetrated. It was very, it rattled me. And I had to actually kind of walk away and regroup. I even cried a little bit. It was that like rattling. And I actually sent him to my supervisor to talk to my supervisor on the phone, and he was like, and my supervisor was like, listen in and just you can stay on the line and listen to how I handle it or whatever. And so I listened, and the guy eventually admitted like he had mental illness or, you know, mental health issues, and sorry, I'm not well, and tell her I apologize. I shouldn't have talked to a woman like that. But it was like terrifying. Like, I wasn't terrified because he wasn't here. Like, he couldn't have, you know, hurt me physically. But it's just some people's energy just really rattles you. You know what I mean? It's, I don't know. Other people, I can tell it's just all bark, and it doesn't bother me as much. It does weigh on you eventually, right? You're eventually like, okay, if I get one more mean person, I don't know what I'm going to be able to take it. But it doesn't like affect me, you know what I mean, that deeply. I can usually just say, well, I'll just shake it off. But with this guy, it was one of those situations where that was some bad energy, and it felt abusive. And I almost hung up on him a couple of times, but I'm not one to really do that. I need to get better at doing that, though. I should have disconnected the line at some point. And it wasn't until my male supervisor was like, I'll review the recording and see what happens, and see and listen in and coach her, you know? And that's when he kind of got remorseful, because he realized someone's going to hear him talking to somebody like that. And that was recorded. I don't think he realized that. Because he was like, you should tell her to do this and this. And then eventually my supervisor was like, yeah, I will, I'll review the call and coach her. And he was like, okay, yeah, well, I shouldn't have, tell her I'm sorry. I shouldn't have, you know, talked to her like, shouldn't have talked to another person like that, let alone a woman or whatever. So, yeah. So that was interesting. And I think I've only had a couple of people that actually affected me like that I talked to. But that can really weigh on you. So I eventually shook that off. But it did kind of spoil the day for a while. But I was working with the supervisor, like my favorite supervisor. I don't think you're supposed to have favorites, but I do. And he made me laugh the rest of the day. So it went by. He's my favorite to work with. He made me laugh, and he made me feel like he had my back, and that I always feel safe when he's on duty. He has that way where like he checks in on the calls and makes sure that everything's going okay, and he's like, I'm always here if you need me, you know. So it just, I felt protected. So that's nice. And he's funny. So we always laugh and joke. And working that many hours, I had like 2 12.5-hour shifts this past week, and it was really exhausting. I also am in the singing class. And I don't know if I talked about this last week, but I haven't really felt comfortable singing. It was interesting because this week in my healer training, advanced therapeutics for energy healing or something like that with Cindy Dale, we were working with the throat chakra and for clairaudience purposes. And I definitely felt like a block in my throat, and we worked through that when we branched out into groups. That's what I requested to work on, so we worked on that, and I haven't been feeling like singing. Like I was so excited to take this class, and I invested in it financially, and I've done some of the exercises. It's just, I'm not in a place where I feel comfortable singing. I definitely feel stifled. And, and for me, singing isn't just like this natural extension. I feel like I have to be in really good vocal shape and not very stressed out. in order to vocalize and feel like I'm not straining. And because I use my voice all day at work, I definitely felt like I've been feeling like I don't have the energy to do it. I don't have the mental energy to think about it. And that's a little disappointing. So I was really looking forward to that as like a creative outlet. But this coming Saturday, I'm going to take a Julia Cameron class. I guess she has a new book out, and the Open Center is hosting her for a free, like a free class, like a free intro, I guess, talking about her new book. And she's really inspiring to me. I've also been, I think I talked about this last week, watching Margie Haber's acting work, her acting technique in between calls at work. And I love watching her. She's so much fun. She's a great acting teacher. She has a great technique. It's very different and unique. And yeah, I really enjoy her. She's all about getting out of your head and getting into your body. So I love that. It's a great remedy for this. And my best friend is in a play currently. And so I've been sharing some of her ideas with him. And so he really likes that. Yeah, I've been feeling very tired. Like I feel like my mental ability to focus right now is kind of waning. I wanted to record. I canceled a lot of things on my days off just to rest. I just wanted to rest and relax, and I needed it. And that's part of the lesson of this card, right? Is you have to rest. It's not a negotiable. Like that's an important part of what you're doing. That's an important part of the journey. So you have to make sure you rest and recoup. And so I did, and today I woke up and I still didn't feel rested. I still felt tired. So I'm still recovering. But compared to the 12.5-hour days, today's shift went much faster. And right, that's the beautiful thing about the contrast of that. The contrast of these times where we feel tired and we aren't sleeping well, and we have a bit of anxiety, and we're up worrying, or things are weighing on us, or we have pending things that we have to do, or we're still waiting for that communication to come back to us, and it's just weighing. It's all these mental things that are taking up space in our brains. It's beautiful to have the contrast then of feeling at peace, feeling relaxed, feeling like we have things together, and well rested and energized even. I mean, I had some of that contrast today as I sort of went throughout the day. And so that was really good. I had a little bit of caffeine this week on my days off, ironically. And I kind of snuck it back into my diet just on those days. It's easier to kind of not be structured about my food and diet when my day isn't structured and I have sort of a free-form day, I've noticed. And so I feel like that structure is really good for me. And it's difficult for me to do that for myself. I kind of like a free-flowing day where I wake up when I feel like it, but that's not necessarily the best thing for me. So, and I have pending things in my mind of people I need to get back in touch with because they called me, and I have to listen to the message and reach out, and scheduling stuff with clients is a bit challenging. Has been challenging this week. So the schedule's been a little weird and wonky and off, but that's all coming back. It's all normalizing again. So I definitely feel like I had an experience with this Nine of Swords, and I definitely feel it. A friend reached out to me earlier today, and he was saying, I feel so heavy today. And I was like, yeah, I feel it too. I was feeling heavy today as well and tired. And then I reminded him of the card. He watches the series. Hi, Sergio, if you're watching. And I was like, this is the card we're in right now, and this is the card we're going into. So, yeah, pretty much. So I watched the Night Stalker documentary. I watched another one as well. I can't quite remember what it was called, or if it was even new. It might have already been on there a while. There was one where a man was falsely accused, and they got footage from a Dodgers game where they were filming Curb Your Enthusiasm. They got the footage and they found him in the. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. I can't remember the name of it, but it's something about a far off chance or something. I can't remember what it's called, but I watched that one, and it's like 35 minutes. It's like one episode of a show, but that one was really fascinating. How they got him off he was convicted for murder, and like all that they did to get him, get that case dismissed. It was a lot. I watched that. I watched a couple of of those sort of true crime documentary things. It felt like that this was the week to do it. It just felt drawn to it, and I'm not always drawn to that. Usually for me, it's all about comedy, to sort of laugh and transmute and get rid of stuff, right? And just to feel like releasing. So, but this week it definitely felt like this was the week to watch at least the Night Stalker. I mean, it's apropos, and that was not pleasant. That was worse than I thought it would be. That was not good. I watched it in the daytime. And I think I watched another, getting into the mind, a criminal mind, something, but I can't remember. I didn't, some of them I just turned off because I was like, all right, I can't watch this, or it wasn't interesting enough. So, but yeah, that was definitely the kind of week I had. And I'm still recovering. My eyes still feel tired. I didn't meditate enough, which usually helps me feel more rested. But I can't quite think of anything else that came up. What else did I work on? I finally watched a meditation for I think it was the new moon in Capricorn. I finally watched the replay of that meditation because I couldn't attend live. And that was a really amazing healing session with my mentor. And we had a Business Alchemy Masters class last week, which was really interesting. But I definitely feel like I have so many thoughts in my mind right now that I can't think clearly. There's too much in there. I definitely feel like I have to do something to release or balance out, meditation. I think sleeping a good sleep tonight will help. And yeah, I think that's about it. I'm probably forgetting things, but I think that's about it for the 9 of Swords. And I'm really happy to get out of this energy, right? And say goodbye to this. So what was your week like with the 9 of Swords? Let me know in the comments. And let's move into the history, symbolism, and divination of the 10. So this is what Robert M. Place has to say about the 10 of Swords. A man lies face down in his blood with 10 swords piercing his body. This card represents pain, severe criticism, or being stabbed in the back. The worst has happened. Now it is time to heal. Accepting pain is often an important part of the healing process. With his right hand, the slain man is making the sign of benediction, a gesture that allows him to identify with Christ and Christ-like forgiveness. See the right hand of Christ. And forgiveness is also an important part of healing. So he's giving that sign of benediction with his right hand. I never noticed that in that card until I read that in Robert's book. This is Robert Place's book. That's where I got that info. And then what might it mean if that card shows up in a reading for divination purposes? Backstabbed, being left for dead, it's over. All you can do is end the cycle and begin again. Game over. End of a difficult situation, can't get worse. Ghosting, left for dead, ending cycle. A prostrate figure pierced by all the swords belonging to the card. Whatsoever is intimidated by the design, also pain, affliction, tears, sadness, desolation. And then Alice B. Grist's intuitive meaning, death of self and personal enlightenment. It is that big. Crisis of self. The Ten of Swords is potentially the darkest looking card of the whole pack. Its image, death, destruction, murder, is deeply powerful. When a part of us dies, we open to a complete new life. This is what this card represents, the total metamorphosis of being. It is the butterfly of the pack. The caterpillar must cease to be to allow the wings to unfold. You must cease to be to allow the wings to unfold. You must cease to be in a very real way for the next part of your journey to take flight. And then looking into the Biddy Tarot, to see what Bridget has to say about the Ten of Swords. Okay. Painful endings, deep wounds, betrayal, loss, crisis. The Ten of Swords makes a painful yet inevitable ending. Marks a painful yet inevitable ending. For example, a relationship may come to an abrupt end, your job may be cut, or a contract is broken. It is as if this ending has come out of the blue and rocked your world. You could have never expected it, but now it has happened, cutting the cord and leaving you feeling as if the world has crumbled in around you. You are grieving the pain of this shocking loss and wonder if you will ever love or find work or trust again. When the Ten of Swords appears in a tarot reading, you may be the victim of another person's betrayal or deceit. You feel as if you've been stabbed in the back and are reeling from someone else's actions. Your partner may have cheated on you, a colleague may spread nasty rumors about you, or a family member has betrayed your trust. The pain inflicted runs deep, not because of what they have done is hurtful, but because you know deep down that this marks the end of your relationship as you know it with them. Along with feeling the pain, you may also grieve the loss of the relationship. The Ten of Swords can suggest that you are taking on the role of victim, hoping others will pity you and save you from despair. You cannot change the actions of another person, but you can change how you respond. Even if you have been harmed or betrayed, you now have a choice to pick yourself up and move forward with your life, rather than falling down in a heap hoping someone will take pity on you. In that way, the Ten of Swords is about letting go and accepting your current circumstances. You no longer resist change, but allow it to happen, even if it causes initial pain and hurt to you. You recognize that there must be a change to facilitate renewal, and you allow it to occur rather than fighting it. The good news is that the Ten of Swords marks the final ordeal. No more pain will come to you from that source. The hour is darkest before dawn, and you must experience the full impact of what has happened before you can move forward and start over. Is it going to be easy? No. But will this ordeal last forever? No. Pick yourself up off the ground and reflect upon what happened to you and why, and what you can learn from the experience. When you do this, the hurt and pain will fade, and you will soon see why all of this needed to happen so you can evolve into your fullest potential. The pain and hurt you have endured have not gone without purpose. Use the positive power within you to learn from your pain and draw wisdom from defeat. So that's what we'll be experiencing this week. And let's use some sound to bring that experience in. So, using the sound of the crystal singing bowl to integrate the experiences of the Nine of Swords, bringing more spiritual immunity around that feeling, integrating any lessons, deepening our relationship to that card, and then calling in synchronicities and experiences that deepen our understanding of the Ten of Swords. All right, so you might want to close your eyes, get in touch with your breath. Beautiful. Coming back to the room. So I'm looking forward to getting out of these energies. I think the court cards will be much better in the sword suit, and then moving into the pentacles after. I'm looking forward to that. So I hope that, thank you for sticking with me on this journey. I hope that you're enjoying this experience, or at least learning, growing, healing from it. And thank you for liking the video, subscribing to the channel. And if you want to reach out to me or schedule a session, things like that, the links will be in the description of the video. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Bye, Empath.